This book is about torture. It's about war and death, loss. There are a lot of heavy emotional themes in this book. I haven't read Manacled. I've heard a lot about it. I'm not interested. This book, you don't need to read Manacled to read this book and enjoy it. In fact, I would recommend you don't read Manacled. You just read this. This book is about a heroine who is not the typical, but I do think she's relatable to a lot of us. She is more of a silent heroine. She is a healer and works in the hospital during the war. She's tortured. She's a complex character. And she always puts herself last, which is infuriating at some parts, but it's part of her character. And she has somebody in her corner that tries very hard not to let her do that to herself. Who do I think this book would be good for? Would be somebody who doesn't mind the depth of the darkness. There are a lot of heavy emotional themes, so be careful, tread lightly. Somebody who wants to read the book just to get to the end, wouldn't recommend it. I really enjoyed this book. I enjoyed luxuriating in the intensity of it. I enjoyed soaking it in. I enjoyed the escapism that it allowed me to have, as well as the active remembering of the details, because it does require you to pay attention. This book, if you enjoy dark romances and you're okay with sitting in discomfort and you're okay with love stories that aren't cute, then I think you would enjoy this book. Or it's possible you could. Maybe you won't. That's okay. I think the character development in this book is rather nice. I think the world building is lovely. She did a very good job. There's a lot of loss. Like I said, there's a little bit of spice. There's morally gray characters. And it is a little slow at parts. In the beginning, it's a little slow. It takes a little bit to get through the first part. But I love, now that I'm done with the book, I love the way that the author organized this book. She did kind of a Quentin Tarantino, where she actually put the middle of the story first, put the first part of the story second, and then the third part is the last part of the story that we get. And I really enjoyed that she did it that way. I think it made it really interesting. I think it was very engaging. There was a lot of angst built. There was a lot of tension built. There was a lot of, wait, what? Hold on. And that's fun. That's fun for me. I enjoyed it. It was not a direct path to the end. I think what's so incredible and relatable about our main heroine is that she is a more, what you would not consider a classic hero to be. She works in the hospital. She doesn't put herself first. She's not flashy, but she gets the job done, man. And she does not give up. She does not surrender. She does not quit. Her endurance, her sacrifice, her loss is so intense. At times it's painful, and at times it's so beautiful. Some of the scenes in this book are really painful, and some of them are incredibly beautiful, beautifully written. I really got to be brought into this world. I felt like some books don't do a great job of like really capturing your imagination and bringing you into the world, but this one does, and that's what I look for in a good book. I think that's a mark of a great writer. And if a book can't do that for me, I'm honestly just not that interested. I like that the author didn't rush through the uncomfortable parts either. She wrote them in such a way that you get to feel that uncomfortableness. And if, in the beginning, the main character is being tortured, and it is a laborious read. It takes time to get through that first part, but I think it's so genius because it does give you that feeling of like, when is it going to be over? That kind of mimics and mirrors the character's feelings, right? So I think that was really intelligent on this writer's part to do it that way. It is slow. You do have to get through it. I should say it's slow for some people, and they have to work their way through it. And then the second part really picks up and is much faster paced. But I would just encourage anybody who feels like maybe they can't make it through the first part to just try. Don't sit down and expect to read it in 2 days. It's probably not going to happen. It didn't happen for me. I took my time with this book. I took my time. I read a couple chapters at a time so I could sit with it, feel through it, really evaluate it, try and remember the details from previous chapters. And I knew I was going to be sad when it was over. And I was sad. I got a great, satisfactory ending. Loved it. But of course, I'm missing the characters. I'm missing the story. I'm sad it's over. It's probably something I will wait to read again because I would like to forget some of the details before I rush in to read it again. But it's one of the best books that I've read this past year. It's been wonderful. It left an impact. And when SenLinYu wants to write another book and put it out there, I'll probably read that one too. She did a fantastic job. I have a little quote to read from her. I watched an interview that she did, and she said, "I really love Gothic literature, and I feel like it tends to capture a lot of the themes of a feminine experience in a constraining society. Gothic literature often has this element of a claustrophobia and a force of the world pushing down on this particular character. People are questioning their sanity, and they don't always know what's real. And so getting to explore that, and then also getting to zoom out and look from a bird's eye angle, what brought that character to this point in this extremely constraining environment, that was always a theme that I'd enjoyed reading. So getting to find a story in which I got to blend together all of these themes and tropes into a story was something I really enjoyed doing. As I got older, there was an element for me of ruminating on the fact that in order for a female character to be heroic, she had to step into the male role. Her strength or heroism always had to come through masculine acts. And so I wanted to explore the quieter heroism, the quieter labor that doesn't tend to be seen, and turning the lens, especially in an epic war story, away from the epic war and the heroes and their fighting, and turning it entirely into being from the perspective of someone who is a necessary, vital role, but at the same time, someone that is not usually looked at all. I love that. She did a good job. She nailed it. I'm very, very happy with reading this book. So that's my 2 cents. I know the controversy of some of the darker scenes. Beware. We're not glorifying anything here. I understand the controversy around Manacled and that it was a fanfic of Harry Potter, and the writer that has been canceled, agreeably so. I am not a fan of hers and her perspectives and her thoughts and opinions. We don't have to talk about that or go there anymore. So for me, this book was a standalone. I took it as such, and I really enjoyed it. So if you're thinking about it, you like a longer read, you like a darker theme, and you're not concerned with some of the trigger warnings, then go for it. Okay, thanks for hanging out. If you have your thoughts, if you have any thoughts and opinions on the book, if you've read it or have thought about reading it, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks.